Eunice Ajayi. Please put your hands together.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gunun. You're welcome again. This is NAPE, Abuja. Welcome all for coming this afternoon. Like you said, this is actually our, the fourth quarter of our technical meeting. And it's a special one because we all be appearing in Lagos for the annual conference in Lagos, NAPE conference. I want to welcome you all today. Before we go ahead, I want to, on behalf of the executive of NAPE Abuja chapter, Emmanuel Ogun, I just spoke with you now. Then I have Dr. Maria Mashiru. I have Tubosun here, and I also have, once again, Ibrahim Jong. You're welcome. I also would like to appreciate our senior colleagues for coming. I can see Mr. Taka, welcome, sir. VP, Mr. Ehibazwaye is around. And also virtually, I can see a lot of senior colleagues and fellows online at this meeting. Welcome all. I would like also to welcome all the student members and also NAPE chapter coordinators. I'm seeing some of them online too. So today's meeting is sponsored by Research, Technology and Innovation Division of NNPC Limited. Thank you so much. And our speaker today is actually from RTI NNPC Limited, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu Edeh. Welcome, sir. Today also, we're having our own Dr. Mohammed Mallah from NNPC sharing this meeting. Mr. Mallah is a transformational climate and energy policy advisor and a chartered geochemist with over 13 years of experience in the energy industry. He holds a PhD in petroleum geosciences from the University of Manchester and is currently serving as a regulator in the upstream petroleum sector of the government. For the government, he is the acting general secretary of Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, NAPE, and a fellow of both the Geological Society of London and Royal Society of Arts, UK. Mr. Mallah, I think will be joining us soon. He's currently unavailably absent, says he's in the meeting, but he's on his way. So to take us further, our topic for today is total organic carbon estimation using well logs. And you agree with me that TOC is a critical indicator of the petroleum hydrocarbon potential in the reservoir. And it will also provide essential insights into the quality and quantity of organic matter present in subsurface formation, which ultimately determines the ability of the source rock to generate hydrocarbon. So that's why the meeting today is actually very, very insightful. Then our objectives today, in today's meeting, is to explore the techniques in the more details program and to examine the principle behind TOC estimation, the methodologies and the algorithms that drives accurate prediction and the latest technology innovation for transforming this area of study. So our topic today is actually very relative, it's very relevant. So I want to encourage us all to engage actively in the discussion, and also want us to share experience and explore new ways to collaborate. By working together, we can develop new strategies and continue to push the boundaries of what is possible in the subsurface reservoir evaluation. Also want us, once again, I want to thank you all for joining us today, and I look forward to the insights and innovations that will emerge from this discussion today. Thank you so much for coming. I want to invite Mr. Ogunu to introduce the speaker of today. Mr. Emmanuel, please, can you come forward? Thank you so much. So I want you to enjoy this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ajayi, the Abuja chapter coordinator for NAPE. So to take us further into this technical meeting, we presenting our speaker for today to us. Our speaker is Mr. Ifeanyichukwu Samuel Edeh. He's going to be speaking to us on the total organic carbon estimation using the well logs. So before we hear him, let's know who he is. Ifeanyichukwu Samuel Edeh is a seasoned geoscientist with 12 years of experience in the oil and gas industry. He holds a BSc in geology and mining from Enugu State University of Science and Technology, and a master's degree in sedimentology and reservoir geology from the University of Port Harcourt. He began his career in Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation since 2012 as an exploration geologist. He devoted his career to advancing the understanding of subsurface exploration and has honed his expertise in biostratigraphy, sedimentology, processing geophysics, petrophysics, and geomechanics. He has contributed to the scientific community by publishing 4 research papers, which covers biostratigraphy, sedimentology, stratigraphy, and application of machine learning to geosciences. He has also shared his insights at different conferences. He's currently the lead subsurface exploration technology application. He's currently the lead subsurface exploration technology application at the Research, Technology and Innovation Department of NNPC Limited, where he integrates diverse expertise and drives innovative solution that enhances exploration success and optimize resources development. Ladies and gentlemen, for this quarter's technical meeting, I'd like to present Mr. Ifeanyichukwu Samuel Edeh as the speaker of today's meeting. Thank you. The point.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All right. My name is Ifeanyichukwu Samuel Edeh from NNPC Research, Technology and Innovation. I'm here to make a presentation on total organic carbon estimation using well log. So this will be the outline for the presentation. When we talk about TOC, or the total organic carbon, our interest is to look at the richness of the source rock. Basically, we want to quantify the organic matter in that particular rock, and usually in weight percent. When you have high TOC maybe values from 1 is good and above 2 is excellent. When you have such, it shows that you have sufficient organic matter in that source rock. But for you to understand the ability to generate and expel hydrocarbon, you need some other parameters like the S2, the hydrogen index, and the thermal maturity information. Basically, on a conventional way, TOC is evaluated through a laboratory process. A very prominent method is rock evapopyrolysis. You are heating up this rock, and the parameters that you get from this experiment are S1, which is the free hydrocarbon, S2, which is the remaining potential, and then S3, which is the CO2. But from all these parameters, you have empirical formulas you use to derive your TOC. But when you look at the laboratory method of evaluating TOC, you will know that it is very labor intensive for you to go do the sampling, that's the coring. You take the sample to the lab and you go through the geochemical processes. It's also time consuming and costs intensive as well. So over the years in the industry have looked at how can we leverage other data that we have so that we can be able to get this TOC as well. And one of the method is to go through the well log. All right. And the idea is for this to collaborate the traditional method, helping you to reduce exploration risk, time costs, and to provide robust data for investment decision. Of course, you know, the TOC generated from log will be a continuous data as against the point data you pick when you are coring. There are several methods that have been developed over the years, and a few of them are on the screen. Prominent among them is PASI, Smoker, multivariate analysis, machine learning methods. But for the sake of understanding and for us to be able to flow and get the details of this estimation, I'll be focusing on the PASI overlay technique. PASI is, with his team, are part of Exxon production research team that first came up with this method of estimating TOC. And they did this first on Bacan Shell in Williston Basin. They use this method both to identify and to quantify the organic matter. So basically, if you look at this, this is a summary of what the techniques and the principle of the PASI overlay method is. This technical, can you help? All right. So the idea is to overlay the resistivity log with sonic log or porosity log, actually. Well, most of the times, sonic is preferred because neutron porosity and density have effect of hold conditions many a times, and that could affect also the result in a way. So what PASI did was to plot these two logs on the same track. All right. All right. What PASI did was to plot these two logs in the same track where they are tracking together. Sorry, we are having some technical issues. All right. Can we go ahead? All right. So what Percy did was to plot these two logs or two curves on the same track and scale them properly. And when they are properly scaled, you will notice that at the point where they track together is a non-source interval. It's actually an organic lean rock, meaning organic lean rock. And when you come to where you have source rock, but it is immature, meaning it has solid organic matter, but have not been transformed into liquid, you will see a separation that is result mainly because of the porosity log. That's what you are seeing. That's what you are seeing there at the immature source rock. But when you come to mature source rock, you are going to see a higher resistivity and also higher transit time, meaning lower velocity as well, compared to the source rock, the non-source interval. So how do we implement this? The first thing we need to do is to delineate the organic rich interval. And to delineate this, we first of all look at a qualitative evaluation. We want to understand where do we have as our non-source, as I said before, clay-rich organic lean, because that's where we want to establish our baseline. Basically, you look at your GR. We know that GR is a basic log, very, very vital in every exploration campaign. So when you look at the GR, you can integrate informations from core data, mod log, and regional geology. We know that low GR is basically clean lithologies, low clay. If you look at this point where you have a moderately high GR value, that could be potential areas. If you come to this section, this lower section, where we are having responses on the GR that is above the typical share responses. These are potential areas we can say that will be organic rich. But this is because of random content. But if you are to verify it, we need a spectral camera. But this is one of the things that passive overlay methods have done for us. Once you get the passive overlay very well, you get that organic interval without having a spectrum. So how do we do this? We have to scale and baseline the log. You load your log into the software. For PASI, the conventional PASI that was established in Beacon Shell, he used 0.01 to 100 ohms meter for the resistivity, and is on logarithmic scale. But for the sonic, he used a linear scale, which ranges from 0 to 200 microseconds per foot. So the key thing here is that the scaling is an iterative process. You have to scale the sonic log to match the resistivity log in the non-source, or vice versa. And once you are able to establish this scale in your basin or the formation you are trying to evaluate the source rock, you will discover that in the non-source interval, the two logs will track together, will parallel together. And that's what we are seeing in that non-source. Whereas on the upper side, you will now see a separation in the matured source area. And according to PASI, once you establish this baseline is taken to have a background TOC value. That's why we say organic lane of 0.88%. And when you finish your calculation with the PASI equation, you are going to add that 0.88% to be able to get the right value of the TOC. All right. So this is a typical display of the PASI overlay method. What do we see here? This separation is what PASI called delta log R. And this delta log R, the higher the separation, the higher the TOC. So if it is bigger, it means the number of the TOC, the weight percent of the TOC is also bigger. But PASI, if you look at the separation is what we are trying to measure. The separation gives us what we call delta log R. But there is also an already developed formula by PASI that we use to calculate that separation. And how do we do it? We're using this equation 1. You will take the log 10 of the resistivity over the resistivity baseline. Remember, we baselined in the previous slide. Then plus the 0.2. This 0.2 is a scaling factor that tries to harmonize the sonic log scale and the resistivity scale. Then the delta T minus delta T baseline. So when you do this calculation, you will get this delta log R. But for you to now get the TOC, you need to use this second formula. That second formula is, there is a parameter that is introduced there that we have not talked about, among other things, which is LOM. LOM is level of organic maturity. Of course, you know that maturity is going to affect the porosity and even the compaction. So the responses of these curves at the point of maturity will be different. So it's very important you put that into consideration when you are making. So how do we get the LOM, the level of organic maturity? There are several sample analysis methods to get that. Number one is if you have the vitrinite reflectance or the thermal alteration index or Tmax. There is already an established model that if you have your vitrinite reflectance, if you look at the chart on my right, you can check the value of the vitrinite reflectance and relate it and get your value of LOM. If you don't have that, you can use thermal alteration index. On the other hand, you can use thermal history. But PASI also developed a plot that connects the delta log R to your TOC value. So with that plot, you can be able to determine your level of organic maturity. So if you have your data, you can plot them and see where they cluster around. And that will help you to determine the level of organic maturity. You put it back to the equation 2, and you're able to calculate your TOC. Also, we talked about S2, which is very crucial if you're going to understand the ability of that source rock to expel and to generate and to expel hydrocarbon. So, but if you're going to get this, you will need to have information about the organic matter type. So if it is type 2 kerogen, you use this model on my left. If it is type 3 collagen, which is gas, you use the model on my right. But with that, you can be able to get this transformation from TOC to S2, which is very, very important in this evaluation. All right. So the next thing, when you have generated your TOC, as I said before, when you put in that equation, you will have a continuous log of the TOC as you are seeing there. But you need to do calibration. You need to calibrate it with core data. This is mostly in an exploration campaign, so you need to calibrate it with core data. Part of the calibration is to make a plot of your log-derived properties with the TOC. And the intention is for you to establish trends. Maybe when the delta locale is increasing or resistivity is increasing, is also showing an increase in TOC. So that helps you to be able to make a better interpretation. So those plots are very important for you to come up with trends and relationship. And then the core data, as you can see here, there is a very good match between the log-derived TOC and the core data, even though in some few places there are mismatch. Same thing with the S2. All right. The reason why we're talking about this is that we need to bring this to our basins. We have a lot of frontier basins in the country, and we need to domesticate this. So our team have tried to see how to domesticate and demonstrate the workability of this in our own basin. Of course, you know that each basin is unique. It has its own history of the positional environment, diagenesis history, and even compaction trend. So a key effort is to be able to scale and baseline this same passing method in your own basin, which our team was able to achieve. So we started by, it's an iterative process, as I said. According to PASI recommendation, you keep the resistivity scaling constant, and you try to scale the sonic log to it. So we kept, if you look at 1, 2, 3, you see that the value of the resistivity there is the conventional passive resistivity. And when we try out the sonic log, which is this first 3, it wasn't really giving us what we expected. So we switched the other way around. We also try out some other scale, but eventually at this 14th iteration, that was where we're able to get both the baseline and the overlay we're looking at. If you look at this point, you will see the baseline, and also you will see the overlays that are displayed within that organic rich interval in the shell zones. And also you see the baseline where we baselined within the organic leach shell. All right, this is just an enlarged picture trying to show the organic rich interval. So looking at the scaling that we used, if you look at PASI's formula, PASI scaling factor is 0.02. But because we established this PASI overlay with a different scale, there was a change in the scaling factor. As you can see there, we have 0.04. Actually, you know, you have resistivity cycles, so you try to match it, the value of the sonic log that matches the resistivity cycle. So for PASI, it is 50 microseconds per foot per resistivity cycle, but we're able to establish it at 25 microseconds per foot per resistivity cycle. The next thing is that we need to plot, we need to get our LOM, level of organic maturity, as I said before. So, and in doing this, we need the different method I've mentioned before. But since we don't have Victorine reflectance data, nor other sources we could use to come up with our own maturity model, we utilize the passive maturity model. So we plotted the values of the measured TOC with delta log R values. And when we did that, you can see that the result gave us LOM of 12. So this is just trying to put side by side the calculated TOC values with that of measured TOC. If you look at column, towards the last column, you will see TOC passive. You see measured TOC as well. When you try to compare the values, you see that it's very close. But we have to do standard deviation of difference. That standard deviation is trying to, normally the acceptable limit is 10 to 20%. That's 0.1 to 0.2. But you can see that the values we have there is in the 0.0, it's in the second place of decimal. So the low standard deviation values we have there is telling us that this evaluation is accurate. Then we went ahead to calibrate, putting the PASI and the log-derived PASI, and then the measured TOC. You can see that there is a very good match in the places where we displayed. Also, you will notice that we are not showing the formations. This is an ongoing research. We intend to optimize on this. As I said before, we didn't have functional reflectance. We're working on getting that data and see how we can develop the maturity model as well. In conclusion, TOC estimation using PASI method is a very powerful and widely useful technique in hydrocarbon exploration. And wherever you test this in an exploration campaign and you see that the well-derived TOC align very closely to the measured TOC, then you can extend it to other wells that do not have sample. Or if you're going to drill additional wells, you may have a coarse sampling interval. And in that way, you'll be able to reduce costs. Also, this is very useful for you to deploy it at well sites, especially where you are trying to identify where you are going to do your sidewalk haul. This is very useful. So this presentation have demonstrated how we can adapt the PASI overlay method to new data, especially within our own contexts, within one of our inland basins. I believe that in due time, we're going to publish this and make it available for everyone to have access to it. But this method has shown that you can use this to reduce exploration risk, cost, and time, and you have enough time for decision making. The other thing I want to say is that this method is very prominent in the unconventional, because in the exploration campaign, we are not particularly chasing the source. It is the reservoir. But in the unconventional, what they are chasing is the source. So our team deciding to adapt this to the conventional exploration is quite innovative, and it has led to further accuracy in evaluation of TOC. I want to acknowledge and express my gratitude to NNPC Research Technology and Innovation Division, who in their generosity have sponsored this technical section. And it shows that they are committed to geoscience development. I also want to appreciate my colleagues who contributed greatly to make this presentation insightful. And I want to appreciate NAPE for providing this excellent platform and opportunity for professional engagement. Thank you.
Can we please put our hands once again for Mr. Ifeanyichukwu Samuel Edeh? All right, so at this point, I'm going to we'll go straight into the question and answers session. So if you have questions, you will indicate by show of hand. We also have we have a lot of viewers, a lot of online attendees. I'm sure we'll have also some questions from the online. So just to give us a summary of the presentation we just heard, we have the chairman for this meeting. We'll have Mr. Is a past president of NAPE, Mr. Alex Tucker. Please put your hands together. F NAPE.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I want to first and foremost welcome each and everyone once again for making time to be here, and to specially thank the speaker for today, Emmanuel, for doing such a wonderful job. I want to guess that he must have lectured before even joining NNPC. The level of thoroughness, the level of presentation, and the professional delivery of this very important topic demonstrates that you're on top of what you are doing, and we're very proud of you. In the NNPC family, I want to thank Abuja chapter of NAPE for giving me this opportunity, and I'm happy to be here. Actually, the chairman of today's event is Dr. Mala. So many assignments will sometimes not permit us to honor assignments given to us. The chapter coordinator just told me that I have to speak, and I'm happy to be here. Today's topic is so important in the industry, especially to those of us that had the opportunity of starting off as Westside geologists. I started off in NNPC right from my youth service in F, which is non-total energies, as a Westside geologist. And that has been a lot of what I did. So a lot of what has been said today was partly my job. I never liked petrophysics, but when you talk of handling the logging operations, I was always on top of my job to make sure that whatever somebody like Ifeanyichukwu will need to do a thorough job have to be achieved at the west site. I'm happy and I'm excited to be asked to give a summary of this. And I want to encourage us first and foremost, for those that will have similar opportunities. If you can't supervise the west site operations well, whatever the result or what you are reading out from the logs will almost be just misleading. And it's a lot of cost. It's a lot of cost. So the topic for today, total organic carbon estimation using well logs. The whole thing has to be proper supervision and ability to be sure the tools handling these logs at the west sites are doing what they're supposed to do down the hole. It's a very sensitive topic, and TOC helps in a lot of decision making especially at the exploration stage, which we are so much doing in the frontier, which some of us happen to be part of the team leads in the frontier exploration, right from Chad Basin operations up to today. The importance of TSC cannot be overemphasized. Ifeanyi was able to remind us about gamma ray, the GR, which is so important in any log in the field, telling us about the quality of lithologies. The entire logging is just lithologies, passing through the shallow to the TD of anywhere, as prognosed by the interpreters. So the gamma ray, we have to read well to be able to understand the cleanness of the sands. The essence of the entire well is to be able to see those clean sands that will be able to tell you the importance of what you are looking for and the investment decision you have taken to even drill the well. So we are reminded about the low GRs, which every geologist here should be used to. The high GR, the low GRs. Low GRs showing us where the clean sands are, our sandstones that are so important in the drilling operations. He also mentioned about proper scaling of the log. Different companies will show you different scales, from Schlumberger to Halliburton to Baker, just name them. Everybody will try to give you their scale. These scales are just for marketing purposes. Each of them is supposed to be guiding you to be able to interpret that log at the end of the day. So scaling is also important, and any wireline engineer, together with the website geologists, that cannot take care of a proper scale at the website, because that comes even in the film. Your name will be there. If you go to Benin today at NEPL, former MPDC, everywhere that are either sat on as a website geologist to drill, those that are hard to complete, my names are there, which means if any of my child goes to that office today to work, if I was able to do a good job, the quality will tell. Nobody's name can replace mine. That is the very interesting thing about website operations. You can't hide it. It's either you do a good job to help those in the office, like Ifeanyichukwu, to have nice petrophysical analysis, or you mess up out there and you have very terrible problems in the office in decision making. He also reminded us about LOM, which is level of organic maturity. The maturity of any basin that we work in is very, very important to guide us about investment decision. We have to always look forward to matured basins to be able to achieve the result of the hydrocarbons, which is at the end of the day what we're all looking for. So we also reminded us about vitrinized reflectance. Very, very important. Total alterations index, total alteration index, Tmax, the thermal history of any basin we're working in. These are very vital in every exploration activity. Another interesting thing he mentioned in the course of this presentation was data log R and TOC calculations. Calibration with core data. Coring is also important in exploration because the core gives you the typical condition of the reservoirs of interest. It's very expensive. You can't just core. You have to be sure of what is within the zone you are coring, and that is where the proper wire line will also tell you. The result of the wire line will guide you within the interval you need to core. The result from core will always be vital to every petrophysicist that have to do the interpretation in the office, giving you the live situation of a reservoir as it is in the field. So for those of us that will have opportunity of being on the site to carry out some of these activities, we need to be very careful. We need to get it right at the website to be able to achieve a wonderful presentation we have seen here. So the PASI, PASI overlay, sorry, and then modify PASI overlay, very important. Ability to deploy it together with the measured ones while operation is on. We have also been told that there's a lot of similarity in both, and that should be able to enhance our understanding and appreciation of what we're doing in the field during the exploration campaign, which is a very cost-effective operation. He has reminded us that if we do this right, our exploration costs, the risk, and the time will be saved. At any point in time, once you mobilize a rig, you discover that the cost starts running. So if all these activities are done right, risk will be reduced, cost will be saved, and time as well. So we want to thank the speaker for today for ability to remind us about things we have almost forgotten about. And for those that are yet to be involved in this, things that were likely to be seen for the younger ones that will finally find themselves at the website to carry out these activities. I don't want to take too much of our time because I'm not the chairman for this event. When Mala comes, he will likely tell us more, being also a subject expert in geochemistry. I want to thank the speaker, Abuja chapter, and the big NAPE for allowing this to take place. At this stage, I want to just call for a question and answer session so that we deepen the understanding of today's topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alex Tucker. So we'll just dive into the question and answers. If you have questions presently here in the hall, please can you indicate by a show of hand? We have a couple of questions from the online viewers. So maybe we'll just start with that. You can sit down, and when it's time to respond to the questions. All right. So we have a question from Okay. It says for the case where you didn't have veterinite reflectants to measure your LOM, how do you get the TOC for the plots, since the LOM value is needed for the formula? So I think I'll just outline the questions, then you. The second one, it says, can the TOC be done on, that's the TOC estimation, be done on Petrel? I think it's a. We have the third one. Ijoma, I think was an online viewer, says, please can you kindly throw more light on the equation 1 and 2, and at what point exactly can you get the baseline value? I think let's just respond to that while we take the next batch of questions.
All right. As earlier stated during the presentation, I said there are different techniques of getting the LOM, and there are models. Please, can you go back to the slide? And there are models already established to get this. So if you don't have vitrinite reflectance and you have thermal alteration index, it's actually spore color analysis. Spore color analysis. When you have that, you can relate it to the level of organic maturity based on that model I showed in one of the slides. Also, if you have the Tmax, there is a plot you can use to connect your Tmass to vitrinite reflectance and then put the vitrinite reflectance in this model to get the LOM. But there is, please, but there is a model that is developed by PASI. It's not going. There is a model that is developed by PASI that, all right. There is a model that is developed by PASI there, a plot of TOC against delta log R, that you have your level of organic maturity overlaid on that plot. So that's what you can use if you don't have the other data that are basin specific. But you have to QC it with the core data and see whether it's aligning. But if you have vitrinite reflectance or this other direct data, as I have spoken, you can use them to develop, all right. Yes. Go down. All right. So you can use vitrinite reflectance, you can use thermal alteration index. I say this is spot color analysis or Tmax, or you can get it from the thermal history of the basin. So, but if you don't have all those data, you can utilize this model by PASI. All right. Second question by, okay, if you can use Petrel, we know that using TechLog gives you great flexibility in petrophysical evaluation. But I think it can be done in Petri as well. All right. Which other one?
Okay, so the first question actually says, for the case where you didn't have vitrinite reflectance to measure your LOM, how do you get for the plots since your LOM for the formula?
How do you get your TOC for the plot?
Yes.
The TOC you are seeing here. The TOC you are seeing here. If you want to develop this plot, is it measured TOC they are going to use to develop this plot? If you have other data. But if you don't have other data, what we did was to try out with this established model by PASI. And when we tried it out and we looked at the standard deviation of difference, we saw that the prediction or the results were aligning. So, but if you have, I think that's the answer. That's my answer for that question.
All right. Yes. So we have we're just taking some more questions.
Go ahead.
We have from Dr. Yusuf from Department of Geology, Kwara State University.
Okay.
He says, thank you for your presentation. In the case of complexities in lithology, that is heterogeneous rock type and variation in rock composition, won't the estimation affect the accuracy and the reliability of the results?
Yes, if you have complex rock type, it can have some impact. But that's the reason why you are doing those plots, those correlation plots. You are plotting those, you are plotting your log-derived properties with the estimated TOC. From those properties, you can see the trends that will help you in that interpretation. Because if you have complex lithologies, let's say calcareous shell, or maybe you have like a sandy shell, definitely it will have some part. You may be overestimating or underestimating at some point. But that's why you need your core, and that's why you need all these other plots that can help you to establish the trends and make proper interpretation.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. We have questions in the house. Please indicate. All right.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My
All right.
first question is, I want interpretation of this and passive. Like, I want to know if there are misconceptions concerning method. Then signatures. And you said that we are going to make two logs that we are going to use in resistivity log and sonic log.
Yes.
I want to know we are going to make use of this.
Okay. If you look at what we're evaluating, we are looking at the place we call non-source. There is an assumption that this does not have organic matter in quotes. Then we have where we call immature. We are looking at it has the matrix, it has organic matter, but it's solid. It doesn't have liquid organic matter. It will have water as well. And we have the matured, which has the liquid and the solid organic. It may have solid and liquid organic matter as well, which is what the resistivity is responding to. So the basic assumption here is that we are tracking the transformations in this rock, the rock we're examining, and its responses to well log. How does well log respond if this changes? If it changes from being just the matrix saturated with water, then when it becomes the matrix, water, and solid organic matter, when it becomes the matrix, the water, solid, and even liquid organic matter. So those are the things we are looking at. Another assumption I mentioned earlier, Percy said that what he's calling non-source is an organic lean interval. And that once you establish this baseline, it has 0.8 TOC in it, which you have to add to the calculation you are getting from the TOC formula. And these have been tried out. Even Percy itself tried it out in several fields and basins, even with different scales. If you have read the Percy paper, you will see it with different scales. So the second question, sir, please.
Okay. My second question is concerning the signatures. I want to know if the differences between the signatures that we are going to get and with the log responses.
if there are going to be differences,
Yes, with the real signatures and the log responses.
I'm not sure I get you very well, but if you are trying to say the responses will change per basin, I will agree with you, because each basin is unique. It has the positional environment, compaction trend, diagenesis history. So those things can modify the response in one basin or one formation to another. But you need to understand the basic thing we're tracking, organic matter. If you are using sonic, for example, what is it responding to? It's low velocity. Low velocity meaning higher transit time. So that's why at that point where we have the source, you see it's increasing. If you also look at both in the source and the non-source, then if you go to, both in the immature source and then the mature source. If you go to the mature source, you begin to see responses from resistivity. What is it responding to? Generated liquid hydrocarbon that is in that matured source, even though maybe it have not started expelling. So that's what is responding to. And these are the things you're also tracking with your S1, S2 in the process. But now you are looking at what the log responses are doing to those changes or transformations in the rock.
All right, we have another question.
Thank you once more, Ifeanyi.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Bazway. My question is just a brief thing. I know there are different models. PASS is one of them, and there are others which you listed. I think it would be good if you can briefly let us know what are the limitations of the others and why you decide to choose PASS over them.
Okay. It's not that I decided to choose PASS over others. The idea is, let's begin with the basic principle, and then we see, because one advantage of PASS, okay, like Smoker developed his own model, but he discovered it was based on bulk density. He was looking at the density, the density of the formation and its relationship to organic matter. But I think there are some kind of statistical calculation he did, and there is a particular parameter that you have to get for that formation. Unlike the PASS, he tried it out in some other basins. It didn't work as it worked in the original basin. But PASS has been discovered that it has wider application across the basins. It has its limitations as well. Limitations can be where you have, okay, we should leave limitation. Okay, it has lower limitation. One of the limitations could be where you have multiple source rock. You need to be going formation by formation to establish the formula. So the formulas may be too much. So having a single formula that can help you to predict in case where you have multiple source rock in that basin. So it's also part of the limitation of PASS. Then PASS established his model between LOM of 5 to 12. But I'm not sure I'm going to call it a limitation, because as at LOM of 12, you are at overmaturity. So you may not call it a limitation, really. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu. So we'll just take the last set of questions coming from the online viewers. In a case where Sonic is not available, can you use neutron or density log in
Yes.
place of sonic?
Yes, that's exactly what I said. But there are empirical relation, the calculation, the formula for calculating your delta log R is a bit different. Sorry, I didn't put it on this presentation, but if the person requests, I can send those, but it's something you can get online.
All right.
The only thing is that, according to Passy, density and neutron seem to be a bit less accurate than sonic. And is looking at, it could be because they are more affected by hole conditions. So that's what I can say on that.
All right. So lastly, assuming core data is not available,
Okay.
can we fully rely on wireline? Although we know our cores are depth specific, but wireline logs measures the entire open hole session. So the question is, assuming core data is not available, if we can rely on just the wireline logs.
Okay. If you have ditch cuttings, that you have that you sampled with the intention of using it for this purpose. If it is sampled maybe at the interval of 3 meters or thereabouts, and the well is not affected by adverse hole condition, and you had it in mind, I'm sure that the information you are getting from ditch cuttings, that's if you have ditch cuttings and you do all this geochemical analysis with it, you can use it. It mustn't be core. So, but if you don't have ditch cuttings, if you do proper scaling and you get this C overlay, there is a great, to a great extent, that overlay tells you where you have the organic interval. And I'm sure you may be doing it maybe in a well site case. When you have not called, you want to do maybe a sidewalk call. So I think with the knowledge of the regional geology as well, you can rely on it.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu. Can we please put your hands together for him? You will actually agree with me that Mr. Ifeanyichukwu has done justice to this topic today. So to appreciate him and also present the award from the NNPC Abuja chapter, I would like to call on Dr. Miriam. Please put your hands together for her.
Hello, everyone. So on behalf of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, Abuja chapter, would like to appreciate Mr. Ifeanyichukwu Samuel Edeh for the very insightful presentation. It was very enlightening. It was like a recap, should I put it, a reminder of what some of us did back then in school. And we really learned a lot. Thank you so much for coming to do this for us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ifeanyichukwu Edeh. I'll be inviting our PRO, Mr. Tubosun, to come and give us an announcement. Tubosun, please.
Good afternoon, all. Okay, so I'll be taking us through our announcement. We want to appreciate everyone for making out time to attend our technical meeting today. Thank you so much for coming. And we are proud to announce that this particular business meeting was sponsored by RTI NNPC. Please let's put our hands together for them. Okay, so what we just witnessed now was the TOC estimate on using well logs. That was the meeting we had here. We have other technical meetings in other sessions, and the next one that is coming up should be the NAPE Benin chapter, where we'll be talking about revealing the geometry and tectonostratigraphy evolution of the Anambra Basin through a multi-data integration approach. It's coming up on the 24th of September, time 11 a.m. If you cannot be there physically, you can also attend online. Okay. Okay, the speaker's name is there. Okay, please, let's see the next one. We also have the Lagos chapter meeting where we'll be talking about the time-lapse 4D seismic application in a deep water turbidite field development using the Akpo field development journey as a case study. It's going to take place on the 25th of September at Eco Hotel in Lagos. And we have the names of the speaker and the session chairman there. If you cannot make it there physically, there is also a link for you to attend online or virtually. Okay, so we also have another event that is coming up tagged making geological maps from process to product, and is a train the trainer program organized by NAPE Warri chapter. And okay, the person facilitating it is somebody that we all know, Professor Nwajide. It promises to be an interesting one, and it's coming up between 27th to 28th of September 2024. Next, please. Okay, this is also to remind you of a career webinar series organized by WIGE Women in Geoscience. So it's coming up on the 21st of September at 10 a.m. The theme is Exciting World of Geology for Secondary School Students. So we might want to share this with younger ones, maybe YP and even those in secondary school, to see a reason why they can consider the exciting world of geology as a career. Next slide, please. Okay, this is also to announce to us the African Energy Week coming up in South Africa between the 4th to 8th of November 2024. And it's themed Energy Growth Through an Enabling Environment. It's taking place at Cape Town. If you're interested, you can also be a part of that. Okay, and this is to announce the big one in the room, the 2024 NAPE Annual Conference that is themed Resolving the Nigerian Energy Trilemma, Energy Security, Sustainable Goods, and Affordability. It's coming up between the 10th to 14th of November this year, and it will be live at the Eco Hotel and Suites. It's our 42nd annual conference and exhibition, and it promises to be a very exciting time. Okay. This is still a flyer talking about that, and it's telling us about registration. For financially up-to-date members, is expected that, please can we go back one step? The cost implication of the registration is as we have seen on the flyer here. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so a call for abstract, there has been an extension, and what we should note is currently submission of full paper ends 30th of September, and there will also be issuance of letters for judges by 30th of September. So in case you have your paper has been accepted for publication. Next. Okay, this is showing us the exhibition plan for the floor. Can we move to the next, please? Okay, reminder for our membership dues. So for student members, the cost is just 2,000 naira per annum. While for active and associate members, you're expected to pay 12,000 naira per annum. I'm sure there's a chicken feed. For corporate members, it's just 50,000 naira per annum. Please, you are reminded to pay it. In case you want to pay, this is the account number you can pay to, and the contact person and the person's phone number and email address is as displayed on the screen here. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a call for those who would want to sponsor our technical meetings. There is opportunity to sponsor, just like RTI is sponsoring today's one. So in case your organization is interested in sponsoring, please, we are open to your sponsorships. Okay. So this is a presentation for the 2024 election cycle. Some candidates who will be running for certain positions. And as a member of NAPI, is expected that you also help in selecting your own leaders. So we have the candidates for president-elect in person of Mrs. Olajumoke Ajayi. Okay, next. Why the person running for general secretary is Dr. Christopher Jackson. We have Mrs. Abidemi Belgore for the financial secretary, while we have Mrs. Somi Oguntola for publicity secretary. Okay, for the post of the treasurer, we have both Mr. Emeka and Ms. Dr. Kendi running for this position. For the editor-in-chief, we have Dr. Adekunle and Mr. Olusheye running for this post. Okay, we have a three-way race here for the post of the AGS Assistant General Secretary between Mr. Lucky, Mrs. Onome, and Dr. Afolabi. So they'll be waiting for your votes. And for the position of the Assistant Editor-in-Chief, you have Mr. Ogba and Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence is actually an active member in NAPE Abuja chapter. So they all canvass for your votes. Next slide. Okay. So our conference sponsor for this coming conference in November includes ExxonMobil, ENI, now Oando, First E&P, we have Airs Energy, we have ND Western, we have New Cross, we have Shell, we have Seplat Energy, and we also have Amni. We have Aradel Holdings. Chevron is also part of the sponsors. NCDMB is also a proud sponsor. We have Platform Petroleum, NNPC, Bell Oil and Gas. We also have the Future Concern Groups, FHN, Ingentia Energies as good sponsor. We have Polaris Integrated and Geo Solutions Limited, Lacostrine Energy. That's our our chairman in the house. We have Petrodata as a silver sponsor. We have WAHEP. Okay, we have Danvik as a bronze sponsor. Bulwark. Okay, so those are our sponsors. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. We're going to call our Vice President, Mr. Eyibazwaye, to give us a vote of thanks. He was actually a past coordinator of Abuja chapter. Mr. Eyi, you're welcome. He's now the Vice President, NAPE International.
We want to thank, first of all, RTI for sponsoring this event. We say thank you. And we know we'll be having more of this with you. We also specifically want to thank our speaker today, Ifeanyichukwu. Thank you for coming, taking out your time, and to present this. We truly appreciate our chairman that had to step in, Alex. We say thank you, and also for your support you have given to this chapter over the years. You've been unrelentless, and we say thank you. And we also want to say thank you to everyone who has turned out here today for this presentation. Without you being here, those who are online and those who are offline, it shouldn't have been what it is. We want to thank our fellows out there, our members of the Executive Council who are online. We say thank you all for coming. May you all have a wonderful journey back to your offices and destinations. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Closing remark, I will want you to agree with me that it's a worthwhile time spent with us, NAPE Abuja Technical Meeting. We appreciate you for coming. And especially, I want to also thank the following people. The President-elect, Mr. John Bosco, is online. Mr. John Bosco, thank you for coming, for attending this, our chapter today. I want to thank also our father in the house, Mr. Alex Parker, our past president, and is a fellow of Nigeria Association of Petroleum Explorationists. Thank you so much. At the shortest possible positive time, we asked to come and share this occasion, and you see such an expert. You actually exhibited your expertise in how you dissected this topic. Thank you. We appreciate you. Lastly, I want to appreciate Mr. Olatomiwa Olaniyi of the RTI. He's the head director, lead head innovation and research, RTI. Mr. Olatomiwa Olaniyi, thank you so much. I remember you were the one that chaired meeting in July. That was the last meeting we had. And you told us that you asked if you could sponsor the next meeting. I said, gladly. I said, oh, sir, please do. And here we are. They sponsored this event. Please give a round of applause to him. Mr. Alatima is online. We want to say thank you. We appreciate you for sponsoring this event. And we look forward for more sponsoring in the future. Thank you so much, our speaker also, Mr. Edeh. You did justice to this topic. And we have actually learned a lot that the new techniques, which is to measure the TOC, is actually cheaper. It's also it's accurate, more accurate than the other ones, and also we can use it in an unconventional way. Thank you so much, and thank you all for coming. We look forward to seeing you at our annual conference in Lagos coming up in November. And also next year, we're going to have many more exciting and insightful programs for you all. Thanks for coming. We have refreshments out there. So just do good, just pick one as you go out of the door. Thank you so much. God bless you. We look forward to having you around next year. Bye. God bless. Let's have photograph, group photograph, all of us.